They say revenge is a dish best served cold. But for this fighter, revenge is a dish best served hot.
Here to take a look at this explosive finish. If you stick around to the end, we'll get into why. And this is a look at Bellator 289 from last November, where Peter Queally takes on Patrick Mix. Quick little exchange to start it off here.
Quick leg kick by Queally. Boom is the overhand right. They both miss. And then a big right hand by Malloy. Now Quilliam clinches up with him, so Malloy kind of just throws him off. Doesn't really do anything with that. Instead, he grabs onto a single leg and drags him down, and these guys go to work on the mat. Let's look at this. So Malloy gives up his back here. Quill does a great job just controlling position, getting into the guard, trying to pass. And when he does, Malloy obviously is going to defend. Now what's so interesting about this position, and I want you to keep your eyes on Quilliam's face here, is that there's no real advantage to being on top. In fact, if you're on the bottom in this position, your triangle is probably actually more effective. That's why a lot of times fighters will actually give up their back, because now they can get a rear naked without having to worry about somebody attacking their own legs. You know, they don't have to worry about an Americana. They don't have to worry about somebody coming in and grabbing a Darce choke. But regardless, these guys scramble and they go back to the feet. And right now, let's pause it for a second. Just look at this guy. He looks exhausted. His face is beat up. His eyes are half shut. And this has nothing to do with any damage that's been done. It's just the fact that he's completely gashed out. Now, if you're a competitor, right, you've been training for this moment for a long time. You've gone through grueling training sessions. You've cut weight. You've prepared yourself physically and mentally. And you know, this is not easy stuff. Fighting in general is not easy stuff. But it takes a different level of preparation. It takes a different level of focus to compete at the highest levels of the sport. And this guy's exhausted. But this is where the fight changes. Check this out. Malloy comes forward. Big right hand. Oh my God, right. Upper section. Tico. What an incredible finish. Let's watch it one more time. Big right hand by Malloy. Upper section. TKO. Wow, what an incredible finish. Here's the thing. At no point in that entire exchange did Malloy actually hurt him. So when we talk about fighting in general, right, we always talk about hurting people. We say, oh, you know, you gotta hurt them, and then you gotta finish them. God. But there's another element to fighting, which is your ability to sense when someone is hurt. See, most fighters, if they're good enough, can tell when their opponent is hurt. And how do they know? Because they smell blood in the water. When someone is tired, when someone is exhausted, they know something is wrong. When someone is slowing down, they know something is wrong. Even if they don't have visual confirmation, even if they cue and see the fact that their nose is bleeding, or they cue and see that their eye is swollen shut, they know something is wrong. And this is a term that we use in martial arts. You have to be able to smell blood in the water. Now, some fighters have a better ability to do that than others. Some fighters actually believe that the other person needs to show obvious signs of fatigue or obvious signs of damage before they shift their game plan. But the reality is, the better predator you are, the earlier you can pick up on those subtle signs that there's blood in the water, that your opponent is hurt. And this is one of the reasons why I always say you have to be willing to go into uncharted waters, because you never know what it's going to be like. Obviously, you prepare yourself for certain situations based on your opponent, but you never really know what it's going to be like. And sometimes things are going to get really ugly, and your game plan is going to change. In the first round, Quillian was very technical. He was staying outside, he was trying to jab, he was trying to kick, he was trying to stay away from Malloy. I think he was actually doing a pretty good job of it too. But listen, this is a big, strong, powerful puncher. And if you try to stay away from him for too long, eventually he's going to catch you. But when you smell blood in the water, when you see these subtle signs that your opponent's not quite right, that's when you have to switch your game plan. And for me, I remember being in fights where maybe I wasn't hurt, but I was tired. I was exhausted. And I could tell just by the looks in their eyes they knew something was wrong. And when that happens, they turn the jets on and they come forward, and they smell blood in the water. And when that happens, you need to be able to adjust. You need to be willing to take a risk, because if you're not, if you continue to play it safe, well, eventually they're going to find a way to expose you. So here, Quillen goes into full predator mode. And again, this isn't about damage. Quillen does not throw this flying knee because Malloy is hurt. He throws it because he smells blood in the water. He knows something is wrong. And yes, there's only a split second between the two, but that split second is often all you get. When you look at the elite competitors in the world, this is what separates them from the rest of the pack. It's not necessarily their technique. It's not necessarily their size. It's not necessarily their strength. It's their willingness to take calculated risks. When you smell blood in the water, you have to be willing to strike. And when you combine this with experience, this is what makes a champion. This is a look at Fabrizio Werdum versus Arjun Buller from UFC 180. And here Werdum is in trouble. He's hurt. But I want you to take a close look at what's happening with Bullard's eyes. Check this out. Right now, he's kind of looking left. He's looking at the cage. And then he glances over at the referee. Now, you can't see it on replay, but if you saw it live, you would have seen the fact that his eyes rolled into the back of his head. If you've ever been in a fight or sparred with somebody who has gone deep into the tank, you know that look. When you see it, you have to capitalize. It doesn't matter if he's dazed. It doesn't matter if he's hurt. It doesn't matter what the referee's doing. You have to capitalize because this might be your only opportunity. Now, unfortunately, Wilder didn't capitalize. He decides to tie up, and I think he made a mistake. I think he should have smelled the blood in the water and went after him. Instead, Werdum gets himself back into the fight and eventually finishes him. But this is a look at what it's like to smell blood in the water. Another look at Bellator 289. And again, Quillen is smelling blood in the water. Notice how his head is moving. It's kind of looking for a target. And I love the way that he comes in here. Again, this is not because he sees that he's hurt. He's trying to figure out where can I hurt him. When he finds the mark, boom, he capitalizes. And guess what? Finish the fight. You know when you smell blood in the water, when you know your opponent is hurt, you have to finish the fight. Because if you don't, they're going to recover. They're going to regroup, and they're going to get back into the fight. And when that happens, you've missed your opportunity. Thanks for watching.